Oh dear.
I was ready yesterday.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to the DeKalb Central United School District Board of Education regular meeting. Tonight is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. For all those able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Angie, roll call, please.
Valerie Armstrong.
Present.
Tony Baker.
Present.
Greg Lance.
Present.
Tony O'Neill.
Present.
Katie Keister.
Present.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have presentations and recognitions.
All right, our first recognition that we have this evening on the agenda. Each June, we offer our retirees an opportunity to come to our June board meeting and be recognized for their years of service at DeKalb Central Schools. And we didn't have a long list of retirees this year, but they are distinguished. And we do have one retiree that's here with us this evening, Mike Strand, retiring from DeKalb Middle School as a custodian. I'd also like to reference Tracy Reinhardt, a secretary from DeKalb Middle School, not able to be here. Annette Fox and Kathy Golliff were paraprofessionals at Watson. Shelley Kennedy as a teacher, our only certified staff member that retired this year. And Cicely Payton, custodian at Waterloo. So tonight, typically we have your direct supervisor say a few words, and Mrs. Weishart is on vacation, but before she left, she recorded a message and wanted to share that with everyone, Mike, on your years of service at DeKalb Middle School. So, Angie, if you don't mind. Outstanding. And Mike, we have a little gift from the district that we'd like to present to you at this time. And we were talking before, this is 23 years, yes, DeKalb Central, and I think we were reminiscing that I think when you came in, I was the assistant principal at the middle school, so we crossed paths very early on in your career. Yeah. And certainly appreciate all the time and effort that you put into DeKalb Central. You ever think about when we put you on the sub list?
Say no, just say no.
Might be on that short call list. Carrie's probably got your numbers. I hear you.
Change his phone number.
Thank you.
I could never tell the temperature with Mike at the middle school because he always wore shorts. But the very few times when he had long pants on, I knew it was cold then. Thanks, Mike.
Well, congratulations to you and all of our retirees. We thank you for your service to our students and staff.
Thank you.
Our next presentation.
Yes, we have Mr. Harrison here. Mr. Harrison not only is our principal at James R. Watson Elementary, but also our district safety director. And each June or July, we hear an update on our safety initiatives in the district. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Teeters, Board of Trustees, for having me here this evening. And I don't feel like I'd be a Hoosier if I didn't promise I'll have you out of here in time for game 6. To celebrate or watch our Pacers. So appreciate being here this evening. I always think it's good once a year for us to look at school safety and the state of where we're at within the district. So as Mr. Teeters shared, I am Austin Harrison, District Safety Director. Our school resource officers were not able to be here this evening, really for a valid reason. The majority of them are at our Indiana State School Resource Officer Conference in Michigan City, Indiana. So they're there getting the much needed professional development. And then obviously we have a picture of probably our favorite officer, with Officer Oden up there, at least the favorite officer when you ask the kids. This is just a list of our ongoing partnerships and collaboration we have within our community, within our county. And this is not a list of everyone and every organization we work with, but these are organizations that do support all things safety that we do here at DeKalb Central Schools. Due to Indiana code, there are some pieces of school safety we can't talk about just due to confidentiality reasons, really what our plans are regarding safety, keeping staff and students safe. So we will get in depth on a lot of the things we do safety-wise, but there are some pieces that we would have to discuss more in an executive session. A big piece is funding. Obviously with SEA 1, right now, you know, it's fair amounts of districts are looking at funding, what that looks like. So I always want to touch base on safety and how our funding is impacted. So the Indiana Department of Homeland Security does offer a grant that is the Secured School Safety Grant. We've applied for this. This will be my 7th year as our district safety director next year. We've applied for this every year that I've been the safety director. We've gotten a portion of the grant every year. So last year was the first time that we did not get fully funded. And that was really throughout the state of Indiana. A lot of that's just due to the amount of requests coming in versus the dollars they have allocated for that. So if you can see the bottom bullet point, the state actually in their budget has increased this from $24 million to $27.1 million for this next fiscal year. So I'm optimistic that we will get the $200,000, which is $100,000 grant funds, and then $100,000 that we use from our local operations funds. I'm optimistic we'll get fully funded. I'm hoping so, hoping that happens, because really that's our biggest avenue of safety funds that we get. There's no safety funding from the state that's directly for school safety. So this is a grant that we apply for every year. Mrs. Brown, can you click that link? One thing I just want to note with this grant, if you scroll down a little bit, Mrs. Brown, when I first started in this role, keep scrolling a little bit. Right there, it's perfect. So you can see all the different areas. So there's 13 different areas that you can use funds to pay for, whether it's Stop the Bleed training, a school resource officer program, a threat assessment, and there's 13 different items. When I first started in this position, there was just more than a handful. So every time I'm out in the community, people say, well, you know, hey, Austin, you guys could look to use this safety grant to help fund this when we're talking about AEDs and those type of things that I'm going to talk about. But we're always sent back to the same pot of money. And that pot of money really hasn't increased during my tenure. The $100,000 has been the maximum we've been able to apply for during my now going into my 7th year. So I just think, you know, as board members, when I'm out in the community, that's always, hey, thanks for letting us know about the grant opportunity, but that's also how we fund our school resource officer program. The last bullet point here is really more kind of clerical. So they've changed, they have 5 employees at the state level with the Indiana Department of Education that they've eliminated the Division of School Building and Physical Security and Safety. Well, they haven't really eliminated, they just transferred those positions underneath the umbrella of the Indiana Department of Homeland Security for this school year, which really from our end as a district works out well because a lot of what we do is through IDHS. So a lot of times I would ask the state questions and then they'd have to go to their contact before they could get back to me with answers. So this will actually clean up and streamline some of those communications. Just community involvement. I feel passionately about being in this role. Really should be a steward within the community, advocating for all things safety and what that looks like. So these are different commissions, boards that I'm a part of. I think the one at the top is the most important to make note of. So we have a Safe Schools Commission that we meet quarterly within our county. So this isn't just DeKalb Central Schools. This is throughout all of DeKalb County. And it's not just schools. We have mental health organizations, county probation, county prosecutor, all sorts of first responder agencies there, where we're talking through best practices and what different districts are doing to ensure we have a safe learning environment for our students. Countywide collaboration. I think this is an area we've really grown in the past 2 or 3 years. So much before we'd be siloed within our districts. We've really made this commission very collaborative. We rotate between districts of where we're meeting each quarter. The organizations within our community are very actively involved. in McKinney Harrison. So trying to keep in the spirit of truly being collaborative within the community, we are hosting this at Lakewood Park Christian, and the 5 of you are invited. If you would like to come on July 15th as board members, just send me an email, a text to get a hold of me, and I will make sure to reserve you a spot. We have plenty of room on July 15th, and I will be at that training. So it's 8 to 11 or 1 to 4. Just let me know if you have interest in coming, and I'll make sure you know the details. This is a wide variety of training opportunities we offer for our staff. CPR certification, this really is a fringe benefit. It's not something we have to have for our staff members. We provide the cost of the trainer. Staff members only have to pay $5 to get their CPR certification or first aid certification. I mean, that's a huge benefit. It is close to $100 if you go through the American Red Cross or other organizations. We do that on site, typically at Watson, just with me being the principal there. Staff members come over, we make it work after contract time. We actually just finished up our last session this week at Watson. And I'm proud to say we had 131 staff members trained this year, which is the highest we've had up to date. Stop and bleed training, which is tourniquet training. We have 5 staff members in every building to comply with Indiana code. But then also, we took it a step farther. Our entire transportation department, so all of our drivers also are trained in stop and bleed training. Looking at just monthly compliance with all of our drills. Narcan training, all of our nurses have that. Obviously our bus evacuations. And then our DOE school safety specialists. I'll get into more detail with this here in a minute. But state law requires 1 school safety specialist, and we have over 20 in the district. Every single one of our buildings has over 2 school safety specialists within them. I'm very proud of that. I think it just is a testament of how we view school safety at DeKalb Central, and we're always, I would say, very proactive. The state had a lot of laws this legislative cycle, and there really wasn't big adjustments we had to make, maybe change things here or there, but I think that's because we're always trying to push ourselves and be forward-thinking when it comes to school safety. Just some more compliance pieces. One of the new laws, so the DeKalb Central Safety Plan, you will have that from me either next month or August. That is something that the board has the opportunity to review moving forward, so you will have that from me here in the next month or so. Just some other pieces of compliance. One thing I do want to stop and make note of in more detail is the AED legislation. So this has been probably the last year and a half a big part of my role as we talk through things. So the law, different versions of bills, and it was going to be this and then this. At one point, it was going to be required that AEDs had to be within 3 minutes of response time. So if someone were to need an event, we would have to get the AED and get them on them within 3 minutes. That's not where it landed. That's a recommendation. Where it landed was essentially if there's events where there's a higher risk of cardiac events, you need to have an AED. Well, that's very subjective to a local district of what that looks like. Obviously, you look at sporting events, fine art events, community events where, gymnasiums where we have larger areas. So, working with Mr. Ram, talking through, that's a large expense when you're looking at the cost of those AEDs. And once again, I'm directed back to that safety grant that we're already using for our school resource officers. So getting creative. I think this goes back to our collaboration within the community and just having that network of people. The DeKalb County Health Department, I really want to give them a shout out. They have donated 19 AEDs to DeKalb Central Schools. I'm a firm believer that's in the relationships we built, why they're willing to do that. It's not something they had to do, there was no mandate. So really, I just want you to take a look at these safety boxes, for lack of a better term. So I'm doing a needs assessment next week with our district nurse, Jen Hagar. Really want to give her a shout out. She spearheaded this, working through this with myself and the county health department. So these safety boxes will be going up in all of our buildings. They have a stop the bleed kit in the box. They have an AED response kit, scissors, anything to sterilize anything if would be needed. Then I want to show you the new AEDs. So these are the new AEDs the health department donated. And really why we landed on these AEDs, as Jen and I were talking, I said, Jen, we got to look at long term. It's an expense to have the 19 AEDs. I appreciate their donation. We've got to look at long-term maintenance, the cost of them. So these batteries have a 5-year life guarantee. The other thing with these is that we don't have to buy 2 sets of pads. Most AEDs, you have to buy an adult pad and a child pad. These, the pads are in there, and then you base shock, whether it's an adult or a child. The other piece from the medical side that Jim loved is they're semi-automatic, whereas a lot of AEDs are automatic. So a lot of times when you put them on, you know, they're checking out the vitals, they'll send a shock. Doesn't seem like a big deal until you have someone who still has a hand on the pad or on the person. So they'll let you know if a shock is needed, and then the semi-automatic piece, we're the one that actually initiates the shock. So this was a great find, and then working with the health department of what they felt was best practice from the medical side. These are where we landed. So I think they'll be good for us long term. So that's what you'll see before the start of the school year. You'll see all these items and all these boxes within our buildings. So our goal really, and this is us trying to be proactive again, I think state legislation will change that 3-minute response time at some point. So we're going to do our best to try to make that happen. We also have some older AEDs that still function. So looking at, can we update pads and batteries and reallocate those to different areas, whether that's central office, maintenance, transportation. So that'll be done over the summer. School resource officer program, so I've touched on this briefly. We do have 3 officers. We work with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office and then the Auburn Police Department with officers, which I think, once again, goes back to the relationships we built. It's not usual that you see a district with multiple different agencies. That can cause a lot of different moving pieces and challenges, but I think it's went really well for us, and I think it's a testament of both those agencies of their willingness to work with us as a district. The last piece, so I have the officers as part of our grant that I have to track different pieces of data. So they had approximately 4,000 interactions during last school year with kids. And when I say interactions, they should have 3,600 interactions every single day with kids that walk in the building. That's not necessarily what this means. This is more something that's more official. Whether it's a call to service, they need to talk to an administrator about a situation, the K-9 check. They have Odin doing K-9 checks, locker checks daily. Home visits, they're very involved in that piece. The other piece that I really task the officers to be involved with is in the educational setting. Kids need to hear from an officer, because if they hear from them in a non-threatening educational setting of, hey, this is why this wasn't okay, or we need to learn from this and use it as a learning opportunity, that's the whole point of having the SROs in the school. It's not, we all know that they're to keep kids safe, to keep staff safe, but it's really the relationships and the mentorship piece. And that's actually the next bullet point. So here's a lot of what they do, but I will tell you, the mentorships, to me, is the most important piece, because they're setting an example for kids. They're building those relationships. They're helping kids see law enforcement as a positive within our community. One example that we wanted to show, so our high school collaborates with Officer Josh Heffelfinger, and they do a SRO show with Barron TV. So we're just going to show you a quick clip of the SRO show. So this is just one example. Obviously, the elementary level is significant, but we do have those officers, talking about the dangers of vaping, talking about social media technology use and safe ways to do that. But I think it's a non-threatening way for an officer to be involved and to help kids learn real life skills. So that's how we use our SROs within our district. This is just continuous improvement, and at this point, these are actually things we've done the majority of the time that I've been in this role. I'm just trying to be proactive within the district. The last one I think is important to note. So if there's ever a parent concern, a community member concern, we do have a feedback, a tip line. I get those regularly when people share concerns, whether that's safety related or all things district related. Because I think when we really talk about school safety, I'm the safety director, the administrative team does a great job, our teachers do an amazing job, but our kids do a great job. We're big on if you know something, if you see something, say something. Because usually kids are the first line of defense. Our parents, I think we have a community that they're vocal with us. They're going to share their thoughts, and it really takes a collaborative and a team effort. And I think that's the biggest thing I'd like the board to take away, and anyone here listening to take away, is it's not one person. It truly is a collective team effort when it comes to school safety and keeping all of our kids safe. So thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Austin. We appreciate everything you do for our district to keep us safe and our students safe. Okay, at this time, I will ask the board for a motion to adopt and amend the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Item F is the consent agenda. This includes items F1 through F5, which is board minutes from May 7th, May 20th, financial report, claims, personnel, and field trips. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to the board.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to make a request for the next board meeting. Could we see an update on the solar panel field and how that's operating within the district for the last 12 months? And then can we see a comparison for the new insurance to the old insurance expenses for the first 5 months of the year? See how's that new plan working out for us? That's it.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. This brings us to item G, donations.
All right, we have some donations here, some great things to highlight. Mrs. Brandt, principal at Country Meadow, received a donation from Brightmark, just a laundry list of different donated PE equipment for recess games, also popsicles for reaching 10,000 pounds of plastic donations from Country Meadow Elementary. This is just a continuation of a great partnership that Country Meadow has with Brightmark in Ashley. And I think it's almost like on a monthly basis, we hear about more and more things that are coming from that relationship. So certainly appreciate the efforts from Country Meadow Elementary and the partnership really with Brightmark and Mrs. Brandt's efforts to continue to grow that relationship. Our students at Country Meadow Elementary are certainly benefiting from that in many different ways when you look at the amount of donations that were received. I think totaling $873.81. The popsicles that were purchased from our food service program that the kids were able to enjoy, and then the different games that there was no price disclosed, but they were all shipped directly to Country Meadow, just a laundry list of different games that the kids at Country Meadow have been able to enjoy. Another donation that Mrs. Brandt brought was coming from the Indiana State Parks and the Indiana Natural Resources Foundation, a grant for $250 to help with a field trip, a third grade field trip to Chaina Lakes State Park. Mr. Harrison commented on the AED donations totaling over $37,000. Yet again, just another great partnership and relationship with the DeKalb County Health Department. So appreciate the efforts there, and certainly our district nurse, Jen Hagar, and Austin Harrison, your efforts as well. And then Nucor with a great donation of $500 to, I think, round out maybe our Gaga Pit creations at each of our elementary schools. I know, Mr. O'Neill, you've had some hands-on experience with those initiatives, but certainly appreciate, again, another great partner with the district is Nucor and their $500 donation. We saw a lot of great pictures, a lot of great videos of the Gaga Pit getting great use, not only at Watson, but at all of our schools. So just some great donations to highlight there across the district.
Thank
I'd
you,
add there was no, I don't think there was any sight of turkey buzzards at the Gaga Pit at Watson.
They've not got all that.
Very good,
Not
that's
high
very
enough.
positive.
The perch isn't high enough, I don't think.
I feel good about that. That's,
Well, thank you, and thank you to our community partners. We couldn't do it without you. Okay, item H, report of the superintendent.
All right, my first item is a recommendation for the DeKalb High School Athletic Director. And I'll summarize the recommendation from Mr. Wagner, the high school principal. The athletic director position was open following the resignation of Josh Bolds. We had 31 applications received through the process, which I thought was a very good indication of the interest of the position. Of those 31, we vetted down to 9 candidates for initial interviews. We settled on 4 candidates to bring back for final round interviews. And I'm very happy and pleased to recommend Mr. Christopher Riker, who is in attendance tonight, to be the next athletic director at DeKalb High School. Mr. Riker's background, over 20 years as director of athletics at Portage Northern High School in Portage, Michigan, a school size slightly larger than DeKalb High School. He has served as the East representative on the Michigan High School Athletic Association Representative Council for the past 5 years. The strengths of Mr. Riker: strong focus on student-athlete development and community-centered education. He led initiatives focused on culture building, organizational efficiency, and leadership, exceptional communication and mentoring skills, and extensive experience with budgeting, scheduling, and regulatory compliance. Something to note, the successful implementation of the CMAA project on leadership, which enhanced school-wide culture, not only within athletics, but it was great to hear the story of how that spread throughout the entire school's culture. And certainly something that was a highlight in talking with him through the interview process. He's highly organized, he's a forward thinker. Plans to begin engaging with the community right away, being here tonight. One of those examples, but also I believe is attending the golf outing tomorrow. The athletic golf outing is tomorrow, and great opportunity for him to start building those relationships at Bridgewater for the athletic golf outing. His official start date would be July 1st of this year. It's a 260-day administrative contract with an annual salary of $103,000 and which would also include the administrative benefit package as well. So I'd appreciate the board's consideration to approve Mr. Christopher Riker as our next athletic director at DeKalb High School.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion from the board to approve the DHS athletic director.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Welcome, Mr. Riker, to DeKalb Central. Go Barons.
I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7.
Same.
Same. Same. Okay, item H2, DeKalb Virtual Academy.
All right, I believe included the presentation in the board's packet at the May 29th school board work session. We had a presentation from Mr. Wagner, the high school principal, also Mrs. Weishart, middle school principal, and Justin Lees, Choice Academy director. and outlined the program's purpose, structure, strategic importance to the district. The session emphasized how the DeKalb Virtual Academy addresses current enrollment trends and student needs. The purpose of the DeKalb Virtual Academy is designed to provide a flexible, fully online learning environment for our students in grades 6 through 12 who may not thrive in traditional settings due to academic, social, or other personal reasons. We really started tracking numbers last year to try to gain a complete understanding of the total need. And I think as reported at the work session, 119 students withdrew to either homeschool or to attend an outside virtual school from DeKalb Central. And digging deeper into those numbers, I think a question was presented, how many of those 119 were middle school or high school age students? Turns out 95, so the vast majority of those 119, 95 of them were grades 6 through 12. The vast majority of them did go on to attend a virtual learning option. Only a handful, maybe 10 or 11 students went to a homeschool option. But nonetheless, those are the two targeted areas that we felt it was important for this academy to be put into effect, so that we have an opportunity, not thinking that we could have kept all 95 of those students with us, but I'd like to think that if that option were available, many of our parents would have chosen that as an option to stay with DeKalb Central. Now, the ADM funding is only 85% of a full ADM funding student for a student that attends in person. But if all 95 students stayed with us, that would have recouped $538,000 for the district in just 1 year. So we could extrapolate, if half those kids were to stay, if 60% of those kids, you could do the math there to see that we can certainly make an impact. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the recommendation a little bit later, but the curriculum for the virtual academy would align to the Indiana academic standards. The instruction would be tailored to varied learning styles. Some students just prefer that method of online learning. It's customizable. The courses are customizable. We use a program called Edmentum. It's something that we're already currently using at the middle school and high school. And Justin Lees, as our director of the Choice Academy, is already using that platform and is well-versed in the use of that platform, so we feel very good about that. We know we can also continue with our district's portrait of the Barron competencies within this program, and it's built on existing successful virtual platforms that we already have in place at Choice, the DHS Online Lab, and Change Academy, which is our alternative to expulsion alternative program. Now, we do have some limitations and expectations of students who would go into the virtual setting. We understand that the best place for students to learn is in person. I think we all saw that firsthand during the global pandemic. These students are choosing to go virtual, so they're choosing then not to take part in athletics or extracurricular or co-curricular activities. Graduation would be at a different time than the normal. This is a totally separate school for these students. But we would still want to dangle that carrot, that motivation for those students to come back to us in person. Because as students from grades 6 through 12, there's a lot of changes that take place with the student. So depending on maturity level, depending on how that student, the interests might change, we would always want to dangle that carrot for that student to come back to us in an in-person setting where they can then take advantage of extra and co-curricular activities. Maybe they want to be involved in an art league, or they want to be in marching band, or they want to be play in athletics. Those are all options that could be that motivation to get those kids back. Time will tell, but that's why the limitation on those types of things entering into a virtual academy are put into place. And that's very typical of other virtual academies that we have seen begin in our area and across the state. The vision, while affirming the superiority of in-person learning, we certainly want to make that as an option for students to come back to us. This proposal and what you heard at the work session in May was really a collaboration between Justin Lees, our director at Choice Academy, Mr. Wagner at the high school, and Mrs. Weishart at the middle school. And so at this point, I'd like to formally ask the board to consider the approval of moving forward with the creation of the DeKalb Virtual Academy, which would entail working with the state to file with the state to create a school the DeKalb Virtual Academy to begin operations in August of this coming school year.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
At this time, I'll bring this to the board to approve the DeKalb Virtual Academy grades 6 through 12.
I'll move to approve the DeKalb Virtual Academy.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think it's a great idea. I think we've got to give more options. And again, this is open to anybody within the state of Indiana, right?
It would be, yes.
So
We're targeting those kids that we're losing, but the success of the program, if it's successful, we can entertain. We do allow out-of-district transfers into our district currently, and the policy supports that. We can accept students into this program if they reside in the state of Indiana.
I think the team did a great job presenting at the
Yeah.
work session. They've put some real effort into it. I think they got the structure set. So I look forward to watching how this is going to progress. I think it'll be a good thing for the district.
I agree with you, Tony. Steve, how do you plan to advertise? Will that still be advertised through our traditional social media outlets or on district website?
So our middle school and high schools will still be intricately involved. Our guidance departments will be involved. Students that attend the DeKalb Virtual Academy, some that have special needs, or if they're special needs students, we still have to oversee their IEPs and have those types of making sure that we meet their needs as well. It's a slippery slope. We know that the best place for students to learn is in person. So we're not going to go out there and bang the drums and make this the end-all be-all, but we know that we have it as an alternative for those students that we just aren't able to reach, or that parents feel like in-person isn't working. And then I think we can adjust that as we go. I think we can see how it progresses, the success of the program, to see what it's doing for our students, is it meeting their needs? And then we can alter that plan on just how much do we want to advertise and promote it. But I think starting off slow and really entertaining students who just are not able to be successful, or parents that are just exhausted and they don't have an answer, and we haven't been able to provide an answer for virtual. We have that answer for them now. So I've challenged Mr. Wagner and Mrs. Weishart. They're kind of the gatekeepers. You know, it's a slippery slope, I think, that we could get a lot of kids that would really like to do this, but may not be their best option. So we have to work closely with the parents, and Mr. Wagner and Mrs. Weishart really have to be the gatekeepers to really understand that this is really a last resort option for students that we otherwise will lose.
Will we be reaching out to the students who already, like in the last
That's
few
a great
years,
thought.
made that option or chose to
Or
leave to
we-
do a
we
virtual
know-
academy?
We know all 95 students that left us for homeschool or for virtual. I think reaching out to those parents and letting them know this is an option, we could gain
We
some of
have
them back
something
right
now
away.
that might meet your needs.
I actually received an email from a high school student asking about the DeKalb Virtual Academy.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's already,
Yeah,
by word of
word's
mouth,
out.
it's already
Yeah.
spreading out there.
That's great.
Do we still utilize, or do we still have a subscription to Niche?
We don't. We didn't.
We did that one
We
year.
did it 1 year and didn't really feel like the information was really worth what we were paying into it, so no.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item H3, 2025-26 DMS fundraisers.
All right, so in June and July, we typically start getting our list of fundraisers. No action to be taken here, informational purposes only, but I challenge the principals to send over a list of their expected fundraisers, what they're used for, and the amount of money that they expect to raise. So DeKalb Middle School is presenting those here for you, for your information tonight.
How do we promote those type of activities? Do we send that information home with the child to the parents, or do we email it to the parents? Because
I think it's any and all the above. I think it's through our social media. Parent Square, our new online communication tool that we're transitioning over from. That's going to have the ability to be able to communicate with parents and to share this type of information. I think our social media accounts promote it. I think our coaches and personal accounts promote it. Most of our schools send out weekly newsletters. I see fundraiser items in their newsletters. I know individual classroom teachers, especially in the elementary, communicate with their parents weekly, and those fundraiser reminders. I think they do a lot of that. Tony, kind of like any and all that you referenced.
I just know my granddaughter hits me up all the time.
There you go. See, so their job
It
well
won't
done.
end. It won't end. All right. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Item H4, University of St. Francis tuition discounts, MOU.
Referencing the board memo, the University of St. Francis has invited us to join other Indiana school corporations to take advantage of a 15% tuition discount option for teachers whose school districts agree to partner with the university by enticing them into a non-binding MOU, non-binding meaning reviewing this legally if there's really no harm, no foul. If we enter into it and the record shows that we do, the 15% discount applies. If we enter into it and nobody takes advantage of it, no harm. USF offers fully online transition to teaching licensing programs, which we just see more and more of every year. In all high-needs subject areas, elementary education, special education, all secondary ed subject areas, and over the past few years, and I would say probably 3, they have really stepped up their game, and we have also increased our relationship time with St. Francis. They've been sending us more and more student teachers, especially special ed, and so we've got a pretty good relationship going, and again, this is no harm, no foul, 15% tuition discount, I'm sorry, for anybody that would be interested in adding something onto their license. Or for those who are transitioning to teaching, and we do have some of those currently.
Okay, thank you, Lori. This time, I'll propose a motion to the board.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think anything we can do to help teachers get engaged and people get involved with education is worth it.
I know, you're right. You're exactly right. I'm hoping this maybe sets a precedence and some other universities might do something like this. And we do have good partnerships with the major state universities, and maybe some others will get on board.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, item H5, acceptance of the cash and in-kind donations to support robotics program.
And I'm not sure why we didn't put this under donations, but it also gives me an opportunity to talk and recognize the work that Kelsey Wirtz and Kelly Hudson continue to do. And I think you used the terms laundry list, Steve, a little bit earlier, but we're just asking you to approve and accept the recent cash and in-kind donations made to our district's robotic programs. These generous contributions will directly benefit all robotics teams throughout the district and align with the district's commitment to expanding our STEM opportunities for our students. And I would just like to read them out loud just so the public hears. We received $2,500 from SFO. We received $1,500 from Nucor. We received 15 parts bins valued at approximately $306.90 from community member Bob Wright. And the donations will be allocated as follow. The cash donations will be used to fund competition registrations, which are getting more and more expensive, and to purchase essential parts and materials needed for the 25-26 robotics seasons. The part bins will help us organize and store robot materials and tools, enhancing our team's efficiency and success. So we are deeply grateful for this assistance. This is a program that's getting a lot of attention from a lot of different community members. And just like the parts bins, hey, I've got these parts bins and these are perfect for what we need. We're gonna grow our space pretty quickly here, and the number of kids participating is growing. And if you've never been to one of these competitions, you really should. You really should go for just a little while at least and see what's going on. It's amazing. It really is. So we just need your approval to accept these donations on behalf of the robotics teams and Kelsey Words.
Thank you, Lori. At this time, I'll ask the board.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Is there a room designated for those robotics, Marcus, in the high school? Or I know the middle school kind of has the old art room that's temporary, but they move a lot of stuff out in the hallway. So that you do have a spot?
Upstairs in the, around the corner from the old concession stand.
Sure.
Across from that, there's 3 rooms there. They're using 2 of those rooms. Ideally, they'd like to have bigger space. We just don't have any bigger space, but once we ever get bigger space, they would move there. But we are building some platforms to raise it up and add some additional storage for them, so.
Sure. Good. It's not big enough.
Yeah, the grids, the competitive grids they are space intrusive, and at the elementary. And I don't know if you remember, it's been a few years ago when Sally Pease came, and she works at Country Meadow, and she had made like a canvas sheet grid to use for our very first competition. So we have come a very long way, but again, it is space intrusive for sure.
It has grown a lot. Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor that signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H6, Region 8, career coaching. Emily.
This recommendation comes from Principal Marcus Wagner at DeKalb High School. He's asking you to consider approving for DeKalb High School the ability to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Region 8 Education Service Center for the 2025-26 school year as part of the Indiana Commission for Higher Education Career Coaching Grant Initiative. This is yet another way to get on a pathway and get kids moving down one of the pathways. And Region 8 has taken this on and provided this opportunity at no cost to us, which is very, very nice. It just gives our students another option. It aligns directly with state mandated requirements for college and career readiness. It will specifically support the required preparing for college and careers course, as well as our ongoing efforts with career discovery meetings, work-based learning pathways, and career exploration. And I might add, as we look at budgets and we know what's happening and, trying not to impact programs because that's what gets hit first, people and programs. This is yet another way to be able to add programming without the expense of a teacher and us taking on that expense. So we believe this is a good partnership and would like to utilize it fully.
Thank you, Lori. This time I'll entertain a motion to the board.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, item H7, Director of Technology recommendation. Mark?
Yes, I'm excited to recommend Mr. Craig Jones as the new Director of Technology. I would like to start by, he's not here this evening, but I would like to thank Matt Buchanan for his years of service at DeKalb Central. Came in and really did an overhaul of this technology department. He is taking a position a little closer to home. I really want to thank him. He's known about the job, what is it, Steve, 2 months?
Yeah.
And I think we all know that when you take a new position, sometimes you can get a little lax in the position you were in. Matt was the exact opposite. He's been phenomenal as we've had to navigate, access points for the new football stadium, things like that. He has not missed a beat. So I just wanted to take a second to thank him before I go on with the recommendation of Craig Jones. Craig's been in the IT world for about 2 decades. His most recent job was with Premier Truck Rental. He was the director of IT, where he managed a complete overhaul of their IT systems, as well as managing the $750,000 IT budget. He also has public school experience, most recently with Northwest Allen County Schools, where he was a network manager and managed their help desk and was second to their IT coordinator. He was also at Garrett community schools. While he was at NACS, he oversaw 8 technicians in his department, so he has extensive management experience. He received his information systems management degree from Ivy Tech, but he's also received A+ certifications. He's done what's called Six Sigma training, which is an excellent, it's not just IT, it's, it's basically for defects and errors and things like that to try to maximize efficiency and production. He took courses at Purdue University in IT security. I would say that Craig's strong suit is IT security. He has had extensive training. He's done Datto. I don't know if anybody knows Datto. It's a company that deals in cybersecurity. He has 2 certifications with them, dealing with backups and disaster recovery. He's had firewall training courses. He's had Cisco training with their firewalls, which we incorporate here at this district. He has been in a leadership position in the last 10 years of his career. So he's excited to come to DeKalb. We interviewed 7 candidates, and he rose to the top. We brought a couple back for second interviews, and Craig just outshined. He has a knowledge base in technology that I'm excited to get on board with our team. He actually came in last week to meet the team, worked with Matt a little bit in his transition, with tomorrow being Matt Buchanan's last day. You can imagine the amount of work that Craig is going to have coming in. He wanted that opportunity to come in and try to learn the ins and outs, took him around the district. I've talked to our current technology team. They seemed very excited about the transition, which made me happy. Craig is extremely team-oriented. It's one of the things he mentioned in his interview process of wanting to bring along the guys in the technology department, get them the training they want, really bringing them into their own, so to speak. He has intense energy, and he is an advocate for students and staff when it comes to technology. He wants nothing but the best. We currently partner with Reliance.io for our internet, infrastructure, and we pay them over $20,000 a year. I'm hopeful in talking with Craig, Taylor, who's here tonight, and Eric, who are our network experts now, that we're going to be able to go away from that. Coming right into this position, I believe, we'll wait a little while to see with Reliance, but I don't think we're going to even need them in the future with what Craig brings to the table. Working with Melissa and seeing letters of recommendation and following up with his references was mind-blowing to me. I've gone through a lot of those processes, and every person I talked to and every letter we saw was exemplary. I mean, every person, we'd hire him back in a second. We have absolutely no qualms in recommending him to you. East Noble's CFO, I talked to him because, he said, yeah, please hire him so I can try to steal him away. They know him. He has kids at East Noble.
Told me the same thing.
I'm excited to bring him into this team. I think he's going to be an excellent addition. So I would just ask that the board approve my recommendation. He'll be on a 260-day contract as a director with a starting salary of $85,000.
Okay, thank you, Mark. At this time, I'll turn to the board, ask for a motion.
I move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Is this a straight position or is it administrative benefits as well? Just
Director, not an
straight
administrative
director?
position. Yeah, director, classified.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for the work of a team going through the interview process. Okay, item H8, Change Academy 25-26 lease agreement.
Yes, as the Change Academy is making the move to our choice building that we lease, they require an MOU or a lease agreement to meet auditing purposes for the county. It's basically it's rubber stamp is what I would call it as well. They are agreeing to pay us $27,705 to lease. What I did basically was take the square footage of the choice building, break down what their square footage was, found what we've paid in the last year in utilities, internet fees, things like that, bundled that all together and just applied it to that square footage, which is where I came up with the number. I know it's an odd number, the 230875. Mr. Lees pointed that out to me once, like, how do you come up with a number with cents in it? That's just how I am, I guess. That's the number that came up when I did the division. So that's going to save us considerable money in our leasing of that building. Currently, we pay about a little over $3,500 a month. So they will help us, you know, that breakdown for them, like I said, was $2,300 of that. That is including the utilities, internet access, and things like that. They are bringing in their own camera systems and things like that. We are doing with our maintenance department. Eastside and Garrett as well, you know, contribute with the Change Academy. So their maintenance departments as well are helping us put up a couple walls for separation purposes and things like that at the Choice Building. Basically, all I need from the board is if you would approve me signing off on this lease agreement. I did include that with you in the packet as well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions and ask for your approval.
What's the overall square footage?
That's a great question. I don't have it with me. Do you know, Justin, off the top of your head? Thank you. That's why I wanted him here
That's
tonight.
for everybody or just? what
Yeah, that's the
we-
entire building.
Entire building, okay.
Yeah. They're getting just under 50%, would you say, of the square footage?
I just wondered, based on what discussions we had at the committee meetings, as the, looking down the road, how much square footage would we need?
Right. I think with the addition of the virtual academy, I think we're kind of in a gray area right now. We got to see how many of, not that those kids are going to be on site, but I don't know how that's going to impact our Choice Academy as it is right now, if we're going to lose some kids to that. But it'll be a telling sign this next school year if Justin comes to us and says, hey, I am overloaded here with the Choice program.
And that's a one-year lease?
Correct.
Okay, at this time, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H9, request for authorization to dispose outdated, unusable curricular material.
Yes, the middle school has gone through their curriculum like we had just done at the elementary level. You have the list of some textbooks and student workbooks that they're looking to dispose of. Just asking the board's permission to dispose of those workbooks and textbooks.
Just don't burn them.
Some kids,
Again, we will attempt to ask students or anybody that wants those, they're more than welcome to them. But other than that, we will probably put them in a dumpster.
okay,
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H10, Smart Systems Agreement Renewal for 25-26.
As Smart Systems, I'm bringing this for Aubrey Rutherford, our food service director. She just needs that we do this every year where we approve the partnership with Smart Systems. They require that contract to be signed. It's a lot of safety equipment, gloves, cleaning equipment, things like that, that they contract out with Smart Systems. So I just need the board's approval for her to go ahead with this.
Okay,
Move to
and-
approve? Nope, sorry.
It's okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Has there been any discussion with them about, because of the type of products that they're supplying, is there gonna be any kind of a anticipated price increase?
Yeah, and that's mentioned in their Smart Systems with the you're talking about tariffs and things like that. Yes, they're kind of in limbo, so the prices did go up, I think 3 or 4% this year. Not bad at all. And we're just, again, that's
Is
a
what it
limbo
is.
area and just wait and see what happens. Most of the gloves, I think, was the big one that they referenced coming from China. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H11, request to raise summer feed pay.
Again, for Mrs. Rutherford, she wants to raise the pay to $15, bump it up $1 for those food service people that are working for our summer feed program. She mentions in her memo, you know, our numbers have increased by over 50,000 meals, and our reimbursement increased by over $177,000. anyone that knows Aubrey knows she's like me. That's why we get along so well. She's a penny pincher. She's extremely fiscally responsible. So for her to ask for a dollar raise, I don't ever question her. I let her run her budget. She does a fantastic job. I think this is a good way to reward the workers that are working in the summer. The $15 falls right into where most of our employees are at right now, and that's the main reason I approved asking the board to let her bump that pay up to $15.
Up to 15.
Correct.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to the board.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H12, the 2025-2026 cell phone stipends.
It's that time of year, our fiscal year is getting ready to start in July 1 again, that the board has to approve our travel addendums and our cell phone stipends. Most of our cell phones are with FirstNet. I think Mr. Harrison's still here, so that they partner with AT&T for emergency services if our cell phones would go down. So most people have that, so that's why this list has shrunk. If you have a cell phone with FirstNet, we just pay for the phone and they get it. So administrators, people that need them have two phones, their own personal and then the FirstNet that the school district provides. But we still have a handful of people that do not have FirstNet phones that use their cell phones extensively for work. So we reimburse them a $600 annual cell phone stipend. So I would just ask the board to approve this list.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't catch this, but don't fringe benefits for the administrative staff run out at the end of this month?
Correct.
Where, I don't see we're voting on that. Are we voting on the fringe benefits? So we can.
No, that will be,
Because they expire, don't they expire June 30th, so we should be voting on it now to make sure it stays in force.
well, we will go, the term has left me, sorry. Status quo, thank you, on their benefits. We want to take directors, and I did the same thing with
I
director
just want to make sure we don't,
Yes.
we're
we
within the
will-
legal framework so that we're not they don't lose that benefits. We create
Correct.
extra paperwork for HR needlessly
Right. And believe me, I've talked to HR and Gina to make sure I don't make either one of them
Sorry,
mad.
I saw we're
No,
going through the
absolutely.
monthly thing, and I just thought, I wanted to make sure
Yeah.
we were covered there.
We are trying to, with where we're at with the state funding, I want to try to get teacher negotiations, administrators, directors all done at the same time. So I've decided to go status quo on those items and talking with Steve. So their benefits package would stay the same, stay status quo until
Till we know more.
we
Yeah, so
negotiate.
this just brought up that round, and I knew there was,
Absolutely.
it was
No.
aligned with the contract, so I just want to make sure our folks are
Right.
protected.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H13, the travel agenda.
In the same vein, we do the travel addendum for our district employees that travel from building to building. We reimburse them mileage if they're using their own vehicle. So I would just ask the board to approve this list. I have made just a few adjustments on a few people that had to go up a little bit that were going over in mileage. Tim Yoder in IT, hopefully he's not going to have to use all that because we do have a district vehicle. When we upgraded one of the district vehicles, we gave one to tech. So I'm hopeful those numbers will go down. Everyone in the business office gives me a hard time from the standpoint of, this is one of those things I watch very closely. This is one of the things I want to make sure we're not giving mileage to people that don't need it. I want to make sure they're using vehicles available to them if we have them. This list is as whittled down as I could make it, believe me.
So are these max payouts, or is this
Yes,
Or you just-
those are maximum payouts.
Up to.
up to? Okay, so, and I don't have a problem with it. The question, going forward with all the technology we have today, are we traveling back and forth between schools for meetings? When we could be doing that through Teams? Just as a thought process, like you said, I'm thinking about what's gonna happen with the state that we don't know about for next year. We ought to be thinking about, okay, are we really having to travel?
All I could tell you, Tony, is I promise you, Gina could back me up.
I can vouch for it.
I look at every single one of them that comes in and where they're going. Technology especially, they travel to buildings when they have to fix something. So they'll go, they'll fix it. I've had the conversation with everybody on this list in terms of, because I've seen a few of them where they've gone back to their home office, and then they've gone out again, and I've had the discussions. Hey, let's try to be a little more efficient. If you know you're going out, go from this building to this building. Yeah, they all hate me, believe me, when it comes to the travel addendum.
Okay.
But I'm with you on that one.
Again, it's just.
Absolutely.
We've done the same thing. My sales team doesn't travel anymore.
Right.
We do
Everything can be done
everything through
online, meetings. Agreed.
We can meet with 8 or 9 customers in a day versus spending a day driving and only getting to meet with one, so.
Right.
Okay, this time I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Okay, item H14, non-certified staff raises, non-certified benefits.
Right. I'll start with, well, I can just show you, it's a pretty short memo. We'll be anywhere from 0 to 6. We are still working on our wage compression and trying to get things as equal as we can, or, you know, as close as we can. So that's why I have that range. I add in there that most of our certified staff, I'm looking right now at 3% raises. I will tell the board, I'm still trying to crunch some numbers. I only have a couple weeks left, but I would like to be able to have that be a little bit more. I'm just trying to look at a few of our revenue streams right now. I'm comfortable at 3%, and the reason I'm at 3% is we changed one thing in our benefits for the classified staff. We are now picking up the PERF contribution, which is 3%, for our paraprofessionals and our school lunch employees. I don't know the history of why those two areas were left off. I don't like it. I didn't like it. Every other employee class has their retirement benefit paid for by the district. So that is how I'm going to get the paras and the school lunch employees their 3% raise. We're going to pick that up. So to try to stay consistent across the board with classified, I'm looking at most of them at 3%. To Greg's point, with the benefit sheet, Gina would have killed me had I gone status quo on classified staff. You can imagine the nightmare with all the hourly employees for payroll to not get that portion done. Much easier for our salaried, administrators, directors, and teachers to deal with that. But the classified that are on hourly pay, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to come into the office had I not gotten this one done. So I am still kind of in limbo. I will keep the board up to date if I do decide that we should go across the board at a higher percentage. I can tell you that at 3%, and again, it's obviously rough, but it's pretty close, that would increase us in our budget approximately $312,000. I'm comfortable with that number. I'm a firm believer. I know we've had a lot of discussions on what's happening at the state level. I'm a believer that I will find places to cut anywhere but employees. I think it's extremely important that we give raises, at least to try to keep up with cost of living adjustments and things like that. So I think with the funding, you know, the state budget going up 2% at least, and if I'm going at 3%, we'll be able to make that work. So I would just ask the board to approve that and the benefit sheet. Like I said, the only thing that's really changing on the benefit sheet is that PERF contribution for paraprofessionals. The wording of the PERF section used to be everyone is paid their 3% except paraprofessionals and school lunch employees. It's like the worst thing in the world to see if you're one of those two classes.
So would they get the perf and a cost of living?
They will not.
Just
They,
one or
their
the other?
3% is going to be us picking up their perf. That gives them a 3% raise.
Okay, at this time I'll entertain a motion to the board.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, this brings us to item I, miscellaneous, and I'll open it up to our board members first. If you have anything this evening.
Sure. I want to bring up some of our ex-students. Mark Beckman is currently a DeKalb employee at the middle school. I think he was a 2015 grad. He just finished his journey to complete the Abbott World Marathon Majors. I have no idea why you'd want to run 26 miles, but he ran in the Tokyo Marathon, the Boston, the London, the Berlin, Chicago, and New York. So if you ever want to know what his pace is, his goal is to be under 6 minutes,
That's impressive.
26 times.
Very impressive.
I get sore riding in a car for 26 miles, so I don't know why you want to run that far, Mark. But if you haven't met Mark, you probably won't meet him very long because his heart is go, 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 go. So if you see him running around town, you probably missed him because he's gone. Rachel Dinkoff, she's a 2012 grad, I believe. She is going into the Indiana High School Track and Field Hall of Fame Saturday. She won the state in shot in 2012. She got third in discus, the other way around. Won the discus, third in shot. She was in the Olympics 2020 in Tokyo. So you only need to make Rachel one time because she is booming with excitement and she's got a personality that, gosh, you just gotta love her. She's a great person. I was hoping she could be here, but man, she's a great, great person, a great role model, and a great person from DeKalb. Hopefully she'll come back and we can recognize her for that honor. My third thing is, since you drove here today, you've hopefully gone around and looked at all the nice new dirt that we've turned over. The old bleachers are gone. It's sad. The visitors' bleachers are gone, and they're waiting for their new residents. The home bleachers on the west side. I'm excited. I drive by there and I just drive slow. I feel like an old farmer driving by and just gawking at what's going on. So I'm excited for the new bleachers to come in. The new concession has a wall. So if you're ever working on projects, there's nothing like seeing a wall go up because you know that something is happening. You know, when you can smell dirt moving, something's happening. The new band complex, you drive by there and it looks like a little fishing hole right now from the rain. There's a nice little pond over there. I think we'll get rid of that, but that's slowly getting moved into the right direction. I want to be here when they move the tower, though. I want to see that engineering process.
I'll make a note of that for you, T.O.
Thank you. I'm going to be in Italy next week, so
It won't be next week, so you're safe.
July 2nd, I'll be back.
Ooh, might not be safe.
Can't hold up the project.
Don't
I'll
hold
have
up
a
for
video
me.
for you.
Don't let me get in the way.
FaceTime.
FaceTime it.
Yeah, it's 6 hours difference. Also, the softball press box has had a lot of compliments with the press box and the dugouts, and I want to thank the FCI crew for coming in and doing that. Man, they came in and it was nasty weather, and they were getting it done before we hosted the sectional, so they did a great job on that, so thanks to them.
Great. Looks great.
And to piggyback on that, remember, we paid for the materials to do that, and FCI donated the labor.
Awesome.
And that ended up being a much more extensive project than they had anticipated. So that's a testament to FCI and their commitment to the school district.
Yeah, they were out there when it was nasty ugly up on top of the building, and looks great. Looking forward. That's it.
Ag committee, are we gonna have a July meeting, do you know? The girls didn't, the last ag committee, they knew they were gonna be busy in June and July, so they weren't sure they were gonna have a meeting in July. Do we know that yet?
I believe our next meeting will be in mid-August, early September.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's it.
I just got one item real quick, and then Mark, you know, you said, I appreciate you trying to open up revenue streams for wage increases. One thing I think I'd like to look at, I think there might be some low-hanging fruit there, is do a 5-year analysis of our annual credit card purchases, Credit card purchases, just high-level dollar amount, because if we can do some kind of deal where we go to a credit card where we get 2% cash back, 3% cash back, and then opportunities exist, like, we can't use smart systems because that's food service, but opportunity for these subscription things, right? If you get $50,000 a month in credit card purchases at 2%, there's $1,000 a month in savings that could go, I mean, maintenance could do a heck of a lot with that. So, I mean, to me, I think that's a opportunity for low-lying fruit, so it's something to look at for the next month.
I believe, do we have that with Lake City? Don't we get with our Lake City credit card or no? Right,
I mean,
right.
yeah, but I mean, if we do a full-blown analysis, I mean, everything, I mean, down to your supplies, gonna switch to one card. You might be able to work a deal with the card company to get 3 or 4%. Again, that's my
Absolutely.
supplies. I mean, an extra $1,500 a month can go a long way for maintenance or even supplies for the teachers, so just an opportunity for a cost save. That's all I have. Oh, I do want to say too, I do want to point out, Mr. Matt Vince and Jesse Garrett, their monthly reports, very professional, very concise. And what I like about it too, I don't know if they collaborate, but they're pretty well aligned too with what's going on. So that makes me feel good that the communication, that tells me the communication is strong between those two folks. So I just thought that needed to be pointed out.
They work together extensively.
I'm sure they're probably sick of each other by now here.
I will add, just because I know Matt well enough, and Steve could probably back me up, you might be the first person that's ever said Matt Vince is concise. He will give you as much information as you want, but his board updates are extremely thorough.
He's got a
and he
future
does
as a
an excellent
project
job.
manager. That's all I gotta say. It was well done.
Yeah.
So
That's another one that I
It's in
am
a good spot.
putting together for the board, hopefully for next month, just to recognize, since that position now is a year old, the amount of money Matt Vince has saved this district
Yep.
has more, I don't like to say that because then he'll come and want a bigger raise, far exceeds his salary. I will put it, he is a pit bull with vendors, and does an excellent job for
and I
us.
think we all saw the value in having that role when we created that back then. Last
I
year, the
can't
year
even
before.
imagine not having the
Yeah,
role in
yeah,
my
so,
position.
And he's good about purging things that are no longer used.
Well, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Some things that are still used, he likes to try to purge.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Sometimes change is good.
That's right.
Appreciate that recognition of those two. They work extremely hard, as do all the directors.
Again, like I said, what amazed me the last two, I meant to say it last month too, but the alignment in their updates too, without even collaborate, they're working together, communication's strong, so.
They're good hard workers. They are.
Absolutely. Good. Anything else? I also want to make a shout out to our administration who had a retreat. I mean, school, I think sometimes people think, oh, it's summer and everyone's on break, and our administrators are not. They're always continually working for us. And I've also seen a lot of our teachers who have also been doing professional development, and they are out of the classroom but still working hard for our students too. And I just want you to know it's seen and it's appreciated. So.
If you just drive through the parking lot here, anytime, any weekday, the amount of students and staff that are here every day is unbelievable. Hundreds of students are doing incredible things all summer long, and they couldn't do it without the coaches and the teachers, so.
Okay, anything for administration?
Just quickly, I shared a letter that I'm sending to Rick and Vicki James. I think we know the level of support that they provide the district, and this is specific to our early learning program, our 4-year-old preschool program that began in 2014. Since then, they've donated $3.7 million to that program, influencing and impacting over 1,000 4-year-old students. I think the first group will be juniors this year. So we've got some longitudinal studies that we were able to take a look at and see the impact that starting early, starting as a 4-year-old in that preschool, high-quality program. I could go on and on about the benefits of that program, but their generosity is amazing, and that's just one area that they have made commitments to the district, but it's just incredible, the amount of support that they've provided the district in that program. It's been amazing, so I just wanted to make sure the board had a copy of that letter.
Thank you.
Anything you want? I will just piggyback on Tony a little bit. I've been super excited about the football complex, the band practice area. As I drive by and I talk with FCI and I'm out, the amount of feedback I've gotten from the public is amazing. They love to see something new going up. We also have exciting things hopefully on the horizon with our performing arts wing and a student activity center. We did receive some high-level numbers from Garmin Miller and a couple sketches that we will share at our July 10th Facilities and Operations Advisory Group. where we can start to dig in a little bit and see, you know, what we can do with that. The initial sketches were extremely exciting. I think Steve would agree. We were there, Matt Vince was there. Just great things on the horizon for this district. I just thank the board for their support in getting that off the ground with the football facility. Just the excitement of our kids. You know, my daughter's gonna be a senior. You guys have, I mean, I'm sure you hear the same things I'm hearing. Kids are excited.
Yes.
Adults are excited. I am thrilled with the coaches that we've been hiring recently. Our new athletic director, I was in the first interview, I mean, these people are excited to be Barons. They're excited for the school district. I know Steve and I have probably said this a million times, you know, I don't even know, it's been too many years, Steve, 33 that we came in together. You know, when Steve and I started at a time when football was a powerhouse, basketball, you know, we went through the basketball years of being a powerhouse. I sense, I don't want to speak too quickly, but I sense the tide is turning and getting us back to the, I don't want to call them the good old days, right, Steve? I mean, they've all been good days for us.
We're sounding old.
That's true. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of this district. I'm honored to be a part of it. I thank all of you way back to when you blessed me with this position.
I will say it's nice, because if you had tried to drive through Waterloo right now, it's a mess, right? So I come around the backside of the school now. It's nice to see that the football team is still practicing. When I come through, when before, they weren't even in sight. So I think that's a very good positive.
With 70-some kids at camp this week, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
huge camp.
And I will give you the date, T.O. I can't remember it. I don't want to give you the wrong one. I want to say the 21st. If Matt were here, he'd be able to tell me that the bleachers will be being installed. The day they bring them will be the day they set them.
I think it might have been in his update.
It might be in his
I'll have to reread
update,
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
but, so
July
you-
21st, you mean?
yes, July 21st would be when they're doing the foundations and the bases in 2 weeks, hopefully, if the weather cooperates. But the bleachers, I'm excited to see those come in and how they set those down. But the day they bring them, they say they begin their work. Because they say they will have them set and done in 2 to 3 days. So that's
Let's go,
quite an
baby.
undertaking. with
Let's go.
3,000 seating bleacher stadium.
The July 10th committee meeting, will that be a midday meeting?
Thank you, that is at 1.
The 1 o'clock here.
1 o'clock.
Yep.
Yes, and I obviously will email, I just kind of wanted to share with the public and the board that we will have that as an agenda item to discuss.
That is a Wednesday too, which is
Yeah.
different than.
Oh,
4th of
I'm
July
sorry.
kind of impacted the normal
That's fine, I just wanted to make sure which time it was.
July 10th.
I'm showing it as a Thursday.
Is it?
It's a Thursday.
Oh, is it?
July 10th, unless I'm
Whatever
looking
day
wrong.
it is.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause July 4th is a
Yeah, because the
Friday.
4th is on a Friday, so that'd be 11.
oh,
It is July
That's
10th.
Yes, it's a Thursday at 1.
I apologize.
And again, I've attended a lot of the meetings, so I don't know if other board members want to go instead.
Well,
If not, I will go.
if there's 3 of us, one we can just sit off to the
As many
side.
can go as they want,
I've
and
done
as
that.
long as
I'm
we
okay
sit
with that.
outside.
Again,
I can
I don't
sit.
want to get anybody to get in trouble. I'm good at it, that's why I don't want anybody to get in trouble.
Experts, aren't we?
Yes, I am an expert at getting in trouble.
As long as you
this
take
time,
Bill Murray's advice and
do
just
they
be
have
an ornament
anyone
and just don't say
sign up
anything,
to
you'll be
speak
fine.
this evening? But if anyone from the audience would like to participate or have anything to share? Okay. Again, thank you all for being here and giving us a summer evening. All right, at this time, I will ask the board to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Our next regular board meeting is July 15th, 2025 at 6 o'clock PM here at Central Office.